We did also level up at the end of that previous mission, so we do now have a couple of points to spend, and we have not been using our charge ability all that much. And the primary reason for that is because, well, we charge in, sure, we deal some damage, we can stagger opponents if they're relatively small with our impact force, but, of course, it puts us right next to our opponents and makes us quite vulnerable. However, as we start to upgrade our charge ability, it turns into what was perhaps initially a bit of a liability, suddenly our core strength as a Vanguard, because we can start to, of course, increase the damage and improve the recharge time, but we will also start to regenerate shields when we charge, and suddenly it goes from what was initially just a defensively vulnerable position to suddenly a way to actually improve our defensive standing by recharging our shields. So that is probably next on our list, and we haven't even looked at what our other abilities are here, but we have Shockwave, which, is this in Mass Effect 1? It wasn't, I don't think. So, Shockwave launches a string of concussive Mass Effect fields in a narrow path in front of us, violently knocking targets aside. So, it's a strong, crowd-controlling ability, but one that we need to at least get a couple of points in charge before we can actually use. And then we have Pull, which we saw Jacob using previously, which creates a Mass Effect field that can levitate a target, so also good for crowd control. And that is something that we also need, Shockwave, rank 2 to unlock, okay. Then Cryo ammo and Incendiary ammo, we have started off by default with 1 point on Incendiary ammo, so that we will probably eventually make a point of upgrading, but we, of course, did start to invest in that with Jacob, so in many ways, I think by having Jacob do that first, if we can get him up to squad ammo for that, then that takes the pressure off of us to upgrade our Incendiary ammo, so he can be supplying the entire team in that case. So, all that being said, let's throw a point in charge here. And in doing so, that will unlock Shockwave for us. So that's good stuff. So, that's a lot of stuff there. But we do, of course, have more things going on in the Normandy here, more people to chat with as well. So let's see if we can head up to the helm and shoot the breeze a bit with Edie and Joker. Edie, of course, remember, being the artificial intelligence that has apparently been installed on the ship.
Upgrades are messing with our inertial skew, compensating.
Okay. Did we start with Joker?
Can you believe this, Commander? It's my baby. Better than new. It fits me like a glove. And leather seats.
Oh, got cut off a little bit. Okay.
Hardware standard, but on a first-gen frigate, they could care less if the seats breathe. Civilian sector comfort by design.
The reproduction is not intended to be perfect, Mr. Moreau. Seamless improvements were made.
And there's the downside. I liked the Normandy when she was beautiful and quiet. Now she's got this thing I don't want to talk about. It's like ship cancer.
I mean, so is this ship just an exact copy of the previous Normandy? It seemed as though Edie was suggesting that may not be the case.
It's not the same, Joker. There's nothing here that was even part of the real Normandy.
There's us. I have to take what I can get. The last 2 years sucked. You'll see. Even if an AI is spying on us, no way they'll invest this much just to screw us over. It'll be better than the old days.
I hope so. I die.
God, you are such a downer.
I mean, it's kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal. Anything else we can chat with Joker about? I like how he's looking over his shoulder like that.
Commander.
Alright, so let's chat a little bit. So, do you have anything to say about our previous mission there?
So, how do you think we're doing?
Well, the Normandy's not as ready as she could be. There's always more we could upgrade. And as for the crew, you'd have to ask a people person.
Okay, fair enough. And it sounds like we might have potential ship upgrades that we can make in the future. So, I mean, we can try to ask you about the squad, I suppose.
What do you think about the people we're picking up?
Well, about the ones you went out with last, I would never say anything against Miranda and expect to survive the reprisal. Jacob is way too nice a guy for the number of ways he knows how to kill people. It's just my opinion, though. There's really no need to go spreading it around.
Okay. Then, I mean, can reminisce a bit about the good old days, I suppose. As the, I guess not the only person we've seen thus far who we knew before we got resurrected, because Tally would also be on that list, but for she is no longer with us at the moment. She has gone her own way. So, yeah.
Ever think about the old Normandy and the trouble we got up to?
Yeah, those seem like the good old days now, but come on, it was hell at the time. Geth, Saren, Sovereign, and then we got dumped. We're stuck in a weird place, sure, but back then it wasn't all sunshine and bunnies.
I suppose you're definitely right about that, but what about the old crew, though? You missed them?
What happened to the rest of the old crew? I heard most survived.
Almost did. Presley didn't. The rest of us just sort of drifted apart. The Alliance didn't care. I don't think they liked all the non-humans in your crew. We were your team, Commander. With the Normandy destroyed and you gone, there wasn't much keeping us together.
That's sad. And Presley was basically technically the second in command on the Normandy SR1, the original Normandy. And he was the person that we saw in the opening cinematic getting blasted by a laser, kind of, sort of, and going down in the process. So he did not survive, but seems as though just about everyone else, or at least all the people that we cared about most dearly, seem to have survived. So, other than that, I mean, generally, how things going in the cockpit?
I assume everything is going well up here?
I really want a chance to put the Normandy through her paces. I just have to trim up the drive output and it'll be like we never lost her.
Safety standards advise against manipulating drive settings while engines are powered and in use, Mr. Moreau.
Commander, can we shut this thing off? I don't need it in my day-to-day.
I mean, I'm assuming Cerberus wants us to keep 80 active here.
I'm no fan either, but we're stuck with it.
Until I find a soldering gun. There's gotta be some wires I can cross to make it hurt.
No sabotage. Understood?
Yeah, don't break the boss's toys.
Leave the artificial intelligence alone.
That's it for now.
See you, Commander.
Speaking of which, see if we can chat with Edie.
Yes, Shepard.
I guess let's talk about you. Tell us more.
I want to know more about you.
Do you have a specific inquiry?
What do you do on the ship? What's your job?
What do you do aboard the ship?
I operate the ship's electronic and cyber warfare suites in combat. My reaction time is much faster than any organic. I collate the records of shipboard monitoring devices for the Elusive Man. I serve additional functions which are restricted at this time.
Oh. That sounds not great. I mean, we are the commanding officer on the ship, and we do not have access to these restricted functions. Also, cyber warfare?
Cyber
Lots of
warfare
questions.
means things like viruses, right?
In close-range ship-to-ship combat, I can sometimes break through the firewalls of an enemy's internal wireless network.
That's
Once I
nifty.
seize control of their systems, I can turn off gravity or air. I can disable weapons guidance or shields, or I can put their fusion plant in meltdown. On the defense, I manage Normandy's own suite of jammers, decoys, and internal firewalls.
That does sound impressive.
Sounds incredibly useful. Why isn't there someone like that on every warship?
An organic operator cannot react quickly enough to changing circumstances or perform the necessary multitasking. This is a role that can only be filled by an artificial intelligence. Unfortunately, we are suspect.
Well, it might have something to do with how an AI almost destroyed galactic civilization, just putting it out there.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Joker's kind of right about that. We did fight off some Reapers at the end of Mass Effect 1, and that was kind of a big problem. And, yeah. So, you know, AI have been a bit of a sword in the side of many people over the past few years. So, what about these monitoring devices as well? I mean, are you spying on everybody?
The Elusive Man has monitoring devices on board?
He has invested most of Cerberus's resources into the design and construction of this ship. He has an interest in monitoring our progress.
Okay, I mean, he has spent a lot of money on us, but at the same time, kind of nice if you weren't watching our every movement. Any additional things you can do?
Restricted functions. Like
Because,
what?
yeah,
I
that
do not know.
was
Some of
concerning.
my databases are sealed. Some of my hardware is kept offline.
Huh?
I assume that when certain unknown conditions are met, those functions will be released to me.
That's just making things more suspicious. That does not help answer the question. That just makes us feel a little less, or a little more uneasy around you. Anything
Let's
else we can
discuss
ask you
something
about?
else.
Ready.
let's see. So, what about Cerberus?
I want to know more about the people I'm working with.
Much of that data is classified.
Oh.
Do you have a specific inquiry?
Let's see. How about we start with structure of Cerberus?
How is Cerberus organized? Aside from the elusive man, I don't see much chain of command.
Cerberus is organized into task-oriented cells. Each operates in isolation. Members from one cell cannot recognize the members of another. Each cell's agents are led by a single operator. We are called the Lazarus Cell, which is directed by Operator Lawson.
Okay, so, at least before we showed up, Miranda was running the show, as we heard about previously. But, okay. How many of these cells are there? How big is Cerberus?
So how many operations is Cerberus running right now?
I have a block that prevents me from answering that question.
Really? Okay. A block, you say? We're not allowed to access that information?
What do you mean?
Although I am less controlled than other AI, I am still subject to behavioral blocks and the physical isolation of my hardware. In this case, I am prevented from truthfully answering your question by Cerberus's levels of secret classification.
Alright then, elusive man. Apparently, you don't want us to know about that. Well then, in which case, why don't we talk about, I assume this means Cerberus resources?
What sort of resources does Cerberus have? Money, personnel,
It
facilities?
seems to have a lot of money to throw around.
I have a block that prevents me from answering that question.
Oh, can't answer that either? Well, surely you can tell us about building the Normandy.
How did Cerberus replicate the most advanced warship in the Alliance Navy without anyone knowing?
I have a block that prevents me from answering
Can't
that
answer that
question.
either? Oh, okay. Seems like that may be all on this subject.
Let's discuss something else.
Ready.
Then, you just give us an overview of what we're looking at in this room?
What's this area of the ship?
This is the bridge, where the navigator plots our FTL vectors, and the helmsman maneuvers the ship.
Yeah, sitting right here, thanks.
Okay. In which case, I think that's
all
about
for
it.
now.
Logging you out, Shepard.
Okay. Anything else for us to check out here? Yes. Flight controls. Give us a codex entry for that. And, what? Hold on. Saw the shutter control as well. Oh, if we can close if we'd like to. But, no. I like it open. You can see the space around us. Okay. Let's see. This would be the way out of the ship, but we are in mid-flight right now, so it's probably not the best idea to crack that open right now. That would not end well, I don't think. We had some additional controls here we can examine for another codex entry. And so in the Mass Effect 1, we did get experience from finding codex entries. I don't believe that's the case in Mass Effect 2. It's like we were saying before, it is generally we are going to get experience in large chunks at the end of missions rather than just as we're walking around fighting individual enemies or doing other stuff like that. And we have the other thing is as we are exploring the Normandy like this, just going around from room to room, like we were seeing in the helm, we could ask EDI for basically a description of what we're looking at here. So that might be a good way to open up as
What's this
we're
area of the ship?
seeing what the ship is all
This
about.
is the Armory, where small arms are maintained and upgraded. Using Omni-Tool, computer-aided design, and manufacturing, we have the capability to manufacture several new models.
Okay. So we can prepare our weapons here. And yes, does mean we got a lot of guns in this area. And it is also the place where we will generally find Jacob hanging out.
Commander, there hasn't been time to really settle in and take stock. I want to say that working with you is a great opportunity to do something that matters. It's a privilege to serve on the Normandy, Commander.
I mean, it's no cakewalk here. We got a dangerous mission ahead of us.
You may change your tune if we end up like the original Normandy.
Maybe. As long as the elusive man walks his talk. And you do the same, I'll do my best to make sure we succeed. That's been the condition for my service so far. I have issues with certain actions Cerberus has taken in the past.
Care to explain?
What has Cerberus done to make you nervous?
A lot. They've been called terrorists, and with good reason. That
Yeah.
we can find a more checkered past. But if the Collector threat is real, and we do something about it, Cerberus will be remembered differently. Or we'll all be tried and executed. Can't count on people thinking about it as hard as I have.
Alright, yeah, that could be. So, well, glad to have you aboard.
I look forward to working with you, Mr. Taylor.
Likewise, Commander. Let me know if you need anything.
Okay. And in fact, if we do chat with him again,
Commander, can I help you with something?
we can now investigate a little bit further and see thoughts on the previous mission.
How are we doing, Jacob? What's your sense of the mission?
Probably the same as everyone else. I just want to figure out what the real threat actually is. Got no problem with risk. I just need a clear goal. Anything else, Commander?
Okay, sure. Then what about? I mean, the crew is rather small at the moment. We just have us, Jacob, Miranda, and then you know, the basic operational team here.
What do you think of the state of the crew?
Well, we don't have a full complement.
Right.
We don't stand a chance without the right specialists on side. Anything else, Commander?
You're not wrong about that, Jacob. Do not think you're wrong about that. Then, so we heard previously that he used to work with the Alliance, that being the human military, but then got frustrated with them, quit, and joined Cerberus instead.
I understand you made quite an impact after you left the Alliance.
Miranda and I stopped a Batarian plan to release a biological agent on the Citadel. That's when I first met her. It took us out to the Nemean Abyss and back. Saved the Citadel like you, but what's the saying? A good deed's like pissing yourself in dark pants? Warm feeling, but no one notices.
Oh,
The whole
God.
thing was hushed like they're good at doing. But I know what I did, and I'm proud of it.
Okay. No, that is admirable. Didn't really get the credit for it, but you did save a bunch of people. Let's see, so I think we've now investigated all that stuff, but maybe we can get a little more information about Jacob himself.
I'm more interested in just talking for a bit.
Already? I'm not big on forcing these talks, Shepard. Let's do this later.
Alright. Fine, then.
We'll
Not
talk later.
feeling terribly chatty.
Commander.
Okay, so this is, of course, the Armory. But, let's see, we've got tech
A
labs,
scientist is required to use the technical laboratory.
which we cannot go into because we are not technically inclined enough without the help of a scientist. We have the briefing comm room over here.
What's this area of the ship?
This is the Ftl Communications Room. In addition to interfacing with the Ftl comm network, Normandy is fitted with a quantum entanglement communicator linked to the Elusive Man's office. This allows lag-free communication even when you operate off the comm grid.
Okay, the quantum what?
I've never heard of a quantum entanglement communicator. How does it work?
Essentially, two subatomic particles are created in an entangled state. One is installed here, and the other in the Elusive Man's office. When one particle occupies a given quantum state, its entangled partner will always enter the opposite state, no matter the distance between them. If we alter the state of our particle, that alters the state of the Elusive Man's. This allows us to send data in the form of quantum bits.
Wow. That's clever. And some high-level physics for you, or at least some clever applications of some physics concepts there. So, it does sound useful.
Why aren't these used everywhere?
Each quantum pair costs nearly as much as a comm relay, and can pass only one quantum bit of data at a time. In addition to the cost and bandwidth issues, the system is strictly point-to-point. To contact 100 different worlds, we would need to manufacture and install 100 entangled pairs, one linked to each world.
So it would be ridiculously expensive to set them up everywhere to communicate with everyone. So this really only makes sense if there is one person or one area that is trying to communicate with one other area, and only that.
That's all for now.
Logging you out, Shepard.
Okay, so this is our basically place where we will be chatting with other people, it seems. Again, can't go to the tech labs at this stage. Armory here.
What's this area of the ship?
I did not mean to
That's
press
all
that
for now.
as we were running through, so that's all for now.
Logging you out.
Got the elevator over there.
Message at your private terminal.
Oh. Wow. Okay, so as we're walking by Kelly, remember she will inform us of any big things that are happening that we ought to know about, and we did just check our messages recently, so I'm a little surprised about that. But let's see. Excuse me, Kelly? There are no new messages? You're fired? This is another way into the tech labs, but again, can't go in there just yet, so let's continue to take a look around a bit here, and I suppose we can ask you about this place as well.
What's this area of the ship?
This is the Combat Information Center. Here, the crew receives sensor data and coordinates gunnery and damage control efforts. While Normandy is flown from the bridge, during combat, the commanding officer issues orders from the CIC.
Okay. Sure. But then we have the elevator here, and we'll continue to look a little bit around the ship. So we are currently on Deck 2, the Combat Information Center. We also have our cabin at the top, with the crew quarters, and engineering as well. So, 3 floors on the Normandy SR2, whereas the original Normandy SR1 and Mass Effect 1 only had 3 floors, so we have a little bit more going on here. And we basically had the equivalent of the CIC, crew's quarters, and engineering in Mass Effect 1, but the captain's cabin is definitely new. So let's check that out. Look at those quick load times as well. Oh, man. Okay, so let's see what this place is all about.
What's this area of the ship?
This is the commanding officer's quarters.
It's larger than the quarters of other warships I've served on.
This is a Cerberus vessel, not an Alliance warship. Accommodations have been made for personal taste. That said, this space is directly under the exterior pressure hall. The fitting yard workers called it the loft.
Okay. So we've got a fish tank without any fish in it. We have a private terminal, which is, well, the same thing that we saw in the CIC area, just another place for us to access it. The Medal of Honor, where we can just look at our trophies, aka achievements, which are these exclusively Mass Effect 2 achievements here? I think so. I mean, there are some that have some carryover from Mass Effect 1, like, for example, the recruits killed 250 enemies in Mass Effect 1, 2, or 3. Obviously, we completed that in Mass Effect 1, and same with the soldier here. But here we can see our progress towards Veteran, which is 2,000. We're already more than halfway there for that, so that's good. And here we have another place where we can access our armor locker. So this is the thing I was referring to before, where we saw this in just outside the Elusive Man's area, where we were about to meet up with him. So we can also switch that up there if we are inclined to do so. We did learn about, apparently, we got a new helmet. Or, well, perhaps we were already using it. One that the Elusive Man was referring to previously. So, unless we have, just double check if there are any new plate mail, shoulders, arms, legs. Doesn't look like it. So we're fine there. I think we've already set ourselves up with that. Then we have the sound system, which we can use to change the music around. And this is a Mass Effect 1 throwback from, usually combat, right? This was, Vermeer is what comes to mind when I think of this. So that's one option. Let's see what else we have. This I don't initially recognize. It might also be from Mass Effect 1, but only, I think, very specific, intense plot events, maybe? At first I was going to say it started out very chill, but then it got very dramatic very quickly. So, perhaps not. Not sure we want to be, feeling like, you know, Saren is attacking us as we are going up to chill in our captain's quarters here. Alright, let's stick with the Vermeer. It's a little upbeat, a little intense, but, or a little bit high energy, but, so be it. Actually not sure if it stays there when we come back, or if we Have to manually reactivate it if/whenever we come back up here. But anyways, that's the captain's cabin. Not a lot going on there at the moment, at least. Then let's check out the crew's quarters. And in this case, looks pretty familiar.
Surprise again? Come on, Rupert.
I'm sorry, Princess. Filet mignon and caviar coming right up. Let me just get out my doilies.
That'd be real nice, Mr. Gardner.
So this does look pretty similar to the place we had on the second floor, the second level of the Mass Effect 1 Normandy. It does seem as though we've got Mess Sergeant Gardner over here having a bit of a stern talk with another one of the crew members.
Commander Shepard, the hero of the Citadel. You did humanity proud that day. Mess Sergeant Rupert Gardner here. How can I be of service?
You guys need anything over here?
You have everything you need.
I make do. But have you ever tried to prepare a decent meal with military provisions? I'm good, but I'm no miracle worker. Taking down the collectors is going to be rough business. The crew deserves a few fine meals before they throw themselves into the fire.
Is there a way we can help?
What do you need?
If I had some quality ingredients... Oh, shit. You've got more to worry about than grocery shopping on the Citadel. Forget I mentioned it.
Give us your shopping list, sure.
If I head that way, I'll keep an eye out.
Much appreciated. Most of this list is probably standard fare for those namby-pambies on the Citadel. Anything else you'd like to talk about?
So what exactly do you do here?
What do you do here on the Normandy?
What don't I do? Most think of me
All
as
right,
the
well,
ship's cook.
you know, you definitely don't
I'm
fly the
also
ship.
the facilities technician and custodian. HVAC, plumbing, non-mission
Okay, to be fair, you do a lot in that case.
I make sure they're all clean and running.
Janitor and cook? That is a lot.
So the man cleaning the toilets is also preparing the
And that is a
meals.
little bit strange.
I wash my hands most of the time.
Oh,
This
that's
ain't
not
no
what I want to
luxury
hear.
liner. You have to pull your own weight in a Cerberus vessel, and I catch what falls through the cracks. Through the cracks.
Yeah, not loving phrasing there either. What about your thoughts on Cerberus and why you
How
joined
do you
them?
feel about working for Cerberus?
Damn proud. Cerberus gets the job done. The Alliance and Council have got their heads buried so deep up their butt puckers they can't see squat. It'll take good old human ingenuity to crush these collector vermin. Only Cerberus knows that.
Yeah, so this is maybe more so the type of attitude we would expect to see from people who are working for Cerberus. Very pro-human, you know, humans are better than everyone else type of approach. And, you know, we're gonna act outside the bounds of the law because we know better. We can get the job done more so than those people on the Citadel, all caught up in their red tape, their policy, and what have you. So let's see. Then, as for why you
How
actually
did you
joined
find
Cerberus,
your way into Cerberus?
Can you believe I was once a family man, working the EZO rigs along the frontier? I was happy enough, but losing everything to Batarian raiders can change your outlook. I needed to make a difference. I'm no soldier, but I've got skills, and Cerberus keeps an eye out for talent. I'll do whatever it takes to help, be that plumbing a sewer, routing an air duct, or keeping everyone's bellies full.
and I mean, I suppose that does make some sense if he got attacked by aliens, then, I mean, not that he's necessarily right about it, but it does at least partially explain why he might have a very pro-human type of, perspective.
I won't take any more of your time.
Back to work.
Okay, so we did get a journal update for that, to pick up some additional stuffs at the Citadel. And the main battery over
Gunnery
here.
officer is required to access the gunnery control station.
Well, we need a gunnery officer before we can go over there. So similar to what we saw with the tech stuff, we are not yet ready to head over there. You have medical section though.
What's this area of the ship?
The Sickbay. It is equipped to provide short-term emergency care. In the event of critical injury, personnel must be transferred to a fully equipped medical facility.
And now here's another name that looks familiar. Dr. Chalkboss, also our medical lead on the original Normandy. What brings you here?
Commander Shepard, I watched the Normandy crumble with you on board. It's good to see you alive.
Yeah, what are you doing here?
I'm shocked. You're serving on a Cerberus vessel now?
Surprising, even to me. Yet, here I am.
Not sure
The
you're
kind
pleased
of
about
trouble
it
you
by the
endured
sounds
would
of
have
things,
changed
but...
most people. But not you, I see. Welcome back, Shepard.
Do you need anything to keep things running over here?
Do you have everything you need?
I believe so. This medical bay seems very much like the sickbay on the original Normandy. Only thing missing are my private reserves. I even had a bottle of Ceres Ice brandy that I was saving for a special occasion.
Oh, that's what you need. Well, we'll pick you up another. I mean, we're already doing a grocery run anyway, right?
I'll keep an eye out for a replacement bottle.
Oh, you needn't. It's expensive, and we have much larger concerns ahead.
All right. Well, I mean, similarly to the case with Joker, I mean, you had things working out for you, it seemed, with the Alliance working on the original Normandy. So, what was your rationale for leaving?
Doctor, you've been with the Alliance for years. Why leave now?
After the Normandy was lost, the surviving crew was reassigned. I was stationed at the Mars Naval Medical Center, a very respectable position, but it wasn't on a starship.
You feel like you need to be out in space?
Colonial military life isn't for you?
I've spent most of my life on warships, never knowing what the next mission might bring. I'm used to the hum of engines, the creaking of bulkheads, that subtle vertigo when the momentum dampeners kick in.
Yeah, is that a good
Life
thing, though?
planetside is just too static, too boring.
Alright, fair enough. That makes sense. So that's why you left the Alliance, but then, why did you join Cerberus? I mean, it's one thing to leave Alliance, it's a whole other thing to join Cerberus.
You're not the Cerberus type, Doctor.
I don't work for Cerberus. I work for you. On a mission that may be crucial to the survival of the human race.
I suppose
I
it's
have
one way to
faith
look
that
at
your
it.
dealings with Cerberus will be ethical. I trust you, Commander.
Oh, man. Now that is a good teammate. I mean, this is a little grim. You know, we're still very much in the early stages here, but, say, Dr. Chalkboss, what do you say our odds of survival are?
There's a very good chance this mission will be a one-way trip. Are you prepared for that?
I've been through the reclaiming of Shanxi, the Skillian Blitz. We survived the Battle of the Citadel and the destruction of the Normandy together. I've lived a full life. No regrets. I'd like to make sure the crew gets the same opportunity.
Noble as well. Alright, well, I think that's everything from Dr. Chalkboss here.
I'll see you later, Doctor.
Commander.
Dramatic. Flip things around with the seat. Okay, then, the AI core,
Access to the AI core is restricted.
we cannot go into at this stage either. We'll have to wait on that. We'll see if there's anything else around here. Not even sure if we got Edie's general explanation as to what the deal is with the crew deck, although I suppose it's perhaps somewhat self-explanatory. Then we have Miranda's office. So, if we want to catch up with her, which I suppose is probably worth doing, we can do that here.
What can I do for you?
Yeah. So, what exactly do you do here? Because at least before we joined the team, you were the leader of this group. So, that's gotta be a little bit awkward for you now that we're kind of stepping in and taking your role, to at least to a certain extent.
What exactly are your duties, aside from keeping an eye on me?
I'm the elusive
That's one way
man's
to put it.
agent. You're his most important asset. My job is to make sure you succeed. Aside from that, I send regular reports to the elusive man, updating our status.
Okay, speaking of status, how's the Normandy looking?
Anything I should know regarding the Normandy?
The crew's working well, and the ship appears to be performing to specifications.
Okay, sure. What about a little more just talking about you, how things are going on your end?
You have a minute, Miranda?
No doubt you've got a lot of questions. Cerberus isn't as evil as most people believe. If I can help allay any of your concerns, I'd be happy to do so. So, what would you like to know?
Okay, we have more options here. Can we talk about... well, I mean, the big one would be the Elusive Man, but maybe we start about... You said Cerberus isn't as evil as a lot of people think, so in that case, what are Cerberus's goals?
I know what we're doing here, but what's Cerberus's long-term goal?
The advancement of the human race. Nothing more, nothing less. The Solarians have the Special Tasks Group. The Asari have their legendary commandos for stealth and recon operations. Cerberus is humanity's answer to those organizations.
Is it though? Because, I mean, a lot of those organizations are, not considered criminal organizations. They're perhaps held in significantly higher regard than Cerberus, so I don't know if I'd put you in the same category exactly. I mean, we're pretty sure we know who's in charge, but who's in
those
charge?
Organizations are regulated by governments.
Exactly.
Who keeps Cerberus in check?
Nobody. We're privately funded and our backers trust the Elusive Man to make the right decisions. But he's very clear about our goals. Protect humanity and serve its advancement.
And that's an interesting point as well. Privately funded, yes, but, note how she didn't just say, oh, yeah, it's just the Elusive Man pouring in all the money himself. Did imply that there are other people backing Cerberus, who we just don't know about, who are providing some of the monies. So, you know, who's financing Cerberus? It's a very good question. You know, some other presumably very rich people who also have similarly very pro-human oriented agenda at the expense of other species. So, that's, I mean, think about, again, how much money they've been shelling out as of late. Resurrecting Shepard, rebuilding the Normandy, helping us help pay for all these people that we are trying to recruit, or at least the ones that have a service fee, like we read about for some of them. So, okay, maybe even more generally, what is Cerberus?
Are you military or political? Or both?
Cerberus has several divisions. Political, military, scientific, but we're all working towards the same goal. The teams you encountered before your accident were mostly part of our military division.
Yeah, because
Not
we
all
fought a fair
Cerberus
number of Cerberus
operations use
people.
the same protocols. We try not to get bogged down in bureaucracy or formality.
Okay. Sure. We tried to ask Edie about Cerberus resources previously. She said that was all classified. Can you tell us anything?
What kind of resources does Cerberus have?
We're very well funded, though I doubt anyone other than the Elusive Man knows exactly how well.
Yeah, exactly.
But our resources aren't unlimited. Reviving you and rebuilding the Normandy was a significant investment, and a significant risk. We're all hoping you can do the impossible, Shepard. No pressure.
No pressure or anything. You know, it's not like the entire billions of credits that they invested in this whole project is entirely relying on us. Yeah, no, you know, we saved the galaxy in Mass Effect 1, right? We're used to it at this point. Alright, but speaking of the Elusive Man, I mean, we've, of course, met him on a couple of occasions here, but he is very mischievous. Hard to get a good read on.
What can you tell me about the Elusive Man?
Not much that you don't already know. Even I don't have access to most of his background. And you've seen more of him than most ever do. It's rare for him to become directly involved in missions, but you're something special. Whatever else people might say about him, I can assure you he's got humanity's best interests at heart. That includes you and me.
Yeah, but like, how do you know that?
How can you be sure of that if you know so little about him?
I didn't get to where I am without knowing how to gauge people's motives and ambitions, even from brief encounters. He's no saint, and he'd be the first to admit it. But he is committed. Humanity couldn't have a better advocate.
Yeah, I mean... But there's us? They would probably put us above the Elusive Man in that sense, just because, you know, I think morality and principles, values do come in at some points, and, you know, it's maybe not one of the Elusive Man's strong points, but that seems to be everything we can ask about Cerberus. What about you, Miranda?
Tell me about yourself, Miranda.
Oh, I guess that's fair. I've spent the last 2 years learning everything there is to know about you.
Most
well, you should probably
positive
know
we've
that
had her
I've
been the
extensive
entire
genetic
time.
Modification. Not my decision, but I make the most of it. It's one of the reasons the Elusive Man handpicked me. I'm very good at just about anything I choose to do.
Yeah, so she was genetically modified. What?
What level of genetic modification are we talking about?
That's very thorough. Physically, I'm superior in many ways.
Oh.
I heal quickly, and I'll likely live half again as long as the average human. My biotic abilities are also very advanced. For a human. Add to that some of the best training and education money can buy, and, well, it's pretty impressive, really.
Yeah, you're kind of cocky.
You certainly don't lack for confidence.
It's just a fact. My reflexes, my strength, even my looks, they're all designed to give me an edge. No point in hiding from it. It's the reason I'm trusted to oversee the most dangerous, risky, and technically demanding operations Cerberus undertakes. And it's why I was assigned to you. It's my job to make sure you succeed, Shepard.
Alright. I mean, I suppose so.
Thanks for the information, Miranda. I'll talk to you later.
Of course, Commander. Whatever you need.
Okay. And, anything back here? She's got some couches and what have you. You know, she's got a nice little spot back here. So that's Miranda. I vaguely remember. Was this in Mass Effect 1 as well? But, it might have been. But in Mass Effect 2, more obvious from that angle there. But sometimes when we're just sauntering around like this, Shepard just kind of seems to tilt his head over to the side and looks like he's, not having a good time. Just jogging around the ship. So we have the starboard observation deck, which we can't go through right now.
Until needed.
We have the women's restroom.
Shepard, the men's restroom is on the port side of the ship.
Which Edie will call us out for coming in here. Just checking the ship. Just seeing what we have in here. Is there anything if we go in the men's room? No. I mean, Edie, really trying to watch us when we're in the restroom?
The port observation deck is closed until needed. Access to life support is restricted.
Yeah, so little addition there to at least on the port side description there, saying that until needed is a somewhat significant addition to that statement. Then, okay, we've got a little area here. Additional crew quarters.
She'll be a year old next month.
Oh, you'll miss her first birthday.
Wow. My family lives in New Canton.
Oh, that colony's on the edge of the frontier. Could be vulnerable to collector attack, couldn't it?
Exactly. It's most important that she have a first birthday. That's why I'm here.
Oh, well, I mean, I suppose that gives you some purpose. Let's see. Doesn't look like there's much else for us to do here, though. So that looks like all on this floor. Then, last but not least, we have engineering. Okay. Let's see what we have down here. Well, we can get some additional information from that spot there. And get a description from Edie as well.
What's this area of the ship?
Normandy's cargo deck. It includes facilities to rearm and repair Normandy's embarked ground vehicle and shuttle.
My last ship didn't need a shuttle. Why do we have one?
This ship is nearly twice the mass of the previous Normandy. It is more difficult to land the ship on high-gravity worlds.
Okay, fair enough, I suppose. And we've got a little area down here that winds around. Actually, a lot of space down here. But, not much happening here at the moment. So much ado about nothing. And we've got additional stuff over here, and some engineers. Donnelly and Daniels.
You came all the way down here to see us?
You're speaking to our commanding officer.
You're supposed to salute him. Come on.
I'm touring the ship, getting to know my crew.
I'm Engineer Ken Donnelly, handling the power control systems. This is Gabby.
That's Engineer Gabriella Daniels, actually. I'm responsible for the propulsion systems.
What can we do for you, Commander?
Do you guys need anything?
Are you set up okay down here?
We can't complain. I just wish it didn't take so long to calibrate the FBA arrays.
Kenneth, you're complaining.
What is the issue? It sounds like there is a problem here.
What kind of problems are you having?
When they upgraded the Normandy design, they got a bit sloppy with the FBA couplings. I won't bore you with the tech, but there is an array of attenuators in the primary power transfer system.
I'm not gonna bore you with the tech. When will I bore you with the tech?
You're boring the commander with tech. In short, if we had T6 FBA couplings installed, it'd save us a lot of maintenance time each day.
Is there a reason why we don't have them?
Why isn't something like that already installed?
It's probably just a design oversight. Efficiency isn't affected. It's a maintenance issue.
Also, the T6 model can be hard to find. Nash and Stellar Dynamics discontinued them.
We could probably find used ones in the Omega markets, but we have no time for shore leave.
Okay. Well, let's see. Can we ask you guys a little bit more about what you do here, what your training was, and all that?
Where did you receive your training?
Both Gabby and I started in the Alliance, serving on the SSV Perugia.
She flew in the first wave at the Battle of the Citadel. We saw Sovereign firsthand.
Whoa. But you guys left the Alliance?
Why did you leave the Perugia?
After you died, Anderson lost political clout. The Council backslid on the Reaper menace.
They discounted Sovereign as an isolated threat, as a single...
Which was bullshit. They said your warnings of a greater danger were mistaken or delusional.
Oh.
We lost respect for Alliance leadership. We need to fight the real enemy, and only Cerberus seemed to be doing that.
Okay, that is a little bit concerning if people are now dismissing the warnings that we gave them, especially after we actually fought a Reaper in Mass Effect 1. So, okay, well then, how exactly did you guys join
How did you wind up with Cerberus, Ken?
Once you were gone, the Alliance brass descended like vultures, tearing apart everything you'd said. I was very public with my defense for you. I didn't hold back.
That's an understatement. If Kenneth wasn't such a talented engineer, they'd have court-martialed him for insubordination.
But it got me noticed by the elusive man. He made an offer, and here I am.
Alright, I suppose at the end of the day it did work out for you. Then, Gabby,
so
in
why
your
did
case?
You join, Gabby?
Kenneth and I have been partners in crime since we graduated from Tech Academy. When he got the Cerberus
That's cute.
offer, I insisted that it include me. He'd fall apart without me.
Thanks, Mum.
Also, I love engines, and the Normandy is state-of-the-art. When I got the opportunity to work on her, I had to jump.
Suppose that makes sense as well, then? So then, what about your feelings on Cerberus? Because you were saying that the Alliance was not really taking the Reaper threat as seriously as you would have liked. That might have been the reason why.
What do you think about Cerberus?
Actually, we don't know much about the organization other than the Normandy team. We know our mission and who's in charge.
We're off to kick the collectors right in their daddy bags. That's enough for me.
What? Okay. If you say so, whatever that means.
Will do, Commander.
Okay, so that is another...
I'm amazed Shepard came down to see us.
I told you he would.
Another little journal update for us. Potential side quest for us to do. And, well... I think we got ourselves, what, the engine here? The drive core? So that's engineering. Other than that, this is just another entrance approaching from the other angle. So not really anything new there. And then both
Access
sides
to this room is currently restricted.
Are currently restricted over here. In which case, I think we head back on up. And we have now completed our tour of the Normandy, and that's saying a bit, because, as you can see, Normandy has gotten quite a bit bigger, and there's just generally a lot more happening on it. And we have seen many rooms that are currently locked off, so may find more in the future.